I really want to watch it.
All righty, we are live.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Who's out there? Tell us. Say something in the chat. Say
Yes,
hello. Tell us where you're from.
let us know in the comments. I can see there are 23 people watching us live. Hello, hello, everyone. Don't be shy. Use the comment box and let us know where you are joining in from. We're super excited to see you
Wow,
here.
on a Saturday evening, at least where I am.
It's a Sunday morning on my side. Good Sunday morning.
Oh wow, nice. Halifax, Canada. Hello.
Hello. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
So let us know if you guys can hear us clearly and you can see us. And if you can see the slides, just doing a little.
Reading, Pennsylvania. Hey, or is it Reading?
Woohoo.
Maybe I'm mispronouncing that. Hopefully not. I'm
And
in
you can
Denver,
take
Colorado. Jab's in Australia.
from down under.
Yep. All right. One person says they can hear us. Yes, just fine. Good. Always good to know.
Awesome. That's
We're
good to
giving people a
hear.
few minutes just to come in before we get
Mhm.
started.
How are you feeling about this, Elena?
I'm feeling good about this. How about
I'm
everybody
so
else? Are you guys excited?
I am.
Mercedes from
Hello, Mercedes.
California. Cool. Oh, so you're an hour. I'm in Colorado, so you're an hour behind me. So we're not too bad as far as late evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to tell
I'm
you guys that like I'm an illustrator designer and Jav has sort of switched me over to Affinity Designer because I think it's easier. So if you
yes.
guys are thinking about learning to make SVGs, this is a great program. It's Colin
Yeah.
from Spokane.
Hi, Callan.
So I'm looking at my comments over here, guys, if you're wondering why.
Hello.
Greenville,
Oh,
North Carolina. Oh, that's nice. I
so
have family.
I would highly recommend sorry, were you gonna say something?
Oh, go ahead. I have family in North Carolina, but go ahead.
I would highly recommend using one chat box, which is on the JV Masterclass page, which is on the Cut and Make Crafts website. So, because
Oh, yeah, we have
I
both
can see
going.
there are two different chat boxes that are active. So, I would highly recommend using the one on the JV Masterclass uh, page rather than the one on YouTube. So, if you guys are on the YouTube chat box, please we go to this
I'm
page
checking both.
and use the chat box over here.
My lighting is. Yeah, we got more people on the in the chat box on the page.
Hmm.
Lou from the UK.
And
Anonymous from Rathdrum, Idaho. Idaho's not too far from me. Barb from
cool.
Canada. Calgary, Alberta. Jackie. Somebody's in sunny Arizona. Nice. Oh,
Hi,
Florida.
hi,
Couple people from
Lula.
Florida.
So one of my students is also
Oh,
here,
hey.
Lula.
Nice.
She is an amazing designer. She's
Wow.
doing so good in the group right now.
Nice.
We have Jen from North Carolina. Carolina. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce some of these. All righty. So it is 11 o'clock. What do you think? Should we get started?
We should get started. Absolutely.
Awesome. So we have 49 people viewing right now. Let's dive straight in. All righty. So Are you guys ready? Show me your hands in the chat box. Are you guys ready to get started with this masterclass? Yes, Jackie, that's correct. This I would really appreciate if everybody uses the chat box on the website instead of the YouTube chat box. Awesome. So let's begin. So can everybody see my slides? Cool, cool. Awesome. So today's masterclass is about the 3 easy steps for custom SVGs in Affinity Designer. So we are specifically focusing on Affinity Designer. We're not going to be using any other apps. So for those of you who want to learn about Affinity Designer or who have never designed SVGs, this is going to be an eye opener for you guys. So let's begin. I'm just logging in through my phone. So this is Jav and Elena presenting you today's masterclass 3 easy steps for custom SVGs in Affinity Designer. So let's do a quick check. So this is a great spot, great webinar for those of you who are a crafter with a full-time job and you want to learn SVG designing to make passive income from SVG cut files. This is great place for you. You want to learn SVG designing in Affinity Designer and not any other program. If you guys are interested in Adobe or other kind, Photopea or Inkscape, this is not the best place for you because I'll be focusing on using Affinity Designer. Yay! Tegol says that she got Affinity last year. That is amazing. I love Affinity. I've been using it for almost like 9 years now. It's an amazing, amazing software. And you're in a right place if you want to learn how to make money making SVGs and you want to make you want to make passive income from SVG cut files, or if you just want to learn for fun, this is a great place for you as well. And this is especially for people who have very limited time on their hands and they want to utilize their limited time and make the most out of it by learning from an expert and cutting down the learning time. And you're tired of watching all the YouTube videos and you're not getting anywhere even after spending a ton of time on YouTube. And just a little heads up, at the end of this webinar, there will be a sales offer where you can purchase a bundle of my SVG Superstar SVG Designing course and this amazing product contributed by Elena. Elena, would you like to share some things about this wonderful bundle?
Well, so in addition to Jav's amazing class, you will get 6 of my card projects. If you don't know me, I'm with Black Sheep 303 Creative, and I do a lot of like Cricut tutorials as well as Scan and Cut and Silhouette Studio. And I'm probably usually known mostly for card designs, and I'm in a lot of crafty summits. So if you are a crafty summit person, that's how you may know me. And so my addition to this is are this my 6 best presentations from a variety of summits with sort of the most popular card projects that I have done for those summits. So it includes the complete tutorial for each card, as well as all the SVG files, like the SVG file for the card. And then for every summit, I always have bonus files. And so you get all the bonus files too, along with like a worksheet with the written instructions and everything. So these are things that normally would only have been available for like the 24 hours during the summit or to people who purchased a VIP pass for a summit. But this is from a bunch of different summits. So I'd be surprised if anybody has all of these.
Yeah, and I can definitely vouch for this because Elena is so popular for her teaching style. Everybody loves the way Elena teaches. and you're definitely going to find so much value in this bundle. So we're going to talk about this later as well. This is just a quick heads up that you will get a chance to purchase this later on. My promise to you is that I will deliver as much value as humanly possible in the next 60 minutes. Nothing I teach today is based on theory. This is tried and tested by me and my 4,000 plus students that I have taught designing. In return, I ask that you treat everybody with respect. You come to this with an open mind, and try to absorb all the information that we share today. And you take plenty of notes. I hope you guys have received your workbook and you're ready. You have the PDF or the printed version to take notes. I hope everybody got it. Now, tips for watching this masterclass: get rid of all the distractions and just focus on this being you time where you get to learn and nurture yourself. You learn a new skill that you can apply later on. So here's what we're going to learn today. First, we're going to go over 3 terrible mistakes to avoid when working with SVGs. And I'm also going to show you 3 easy steps for custom SVGs in Affinity Designer. And at the end, there will be a time where you will be called to take an action, and those who take action during the call will be awarded with this bonus package where you can learn how to package and sell SVG cut files on Etsy. It comes with all the nitty gritty details: how to write product descriptions, how to create your listings, how to create your listing images. Every single detail is covered in this package. So if you're interested, stay tuned. Alrighty. So just a quick little intro. Before the intro, I just want to ask you guys a quick question. So let's say IKEA is organizing this competition where you have to build this hutch in 30 minutes and the winner gets 100K. So my question is, are you going to work with an expert who already knows how to put this together and has put together like 100 of these hutches, or are you going to work on your own uh, to put this together? So let me know in the comments section. Are you going to work with an expert or are you going to work on your own?
I just redid my craft room with a lot of IKEA cabinets. I
Mm-hmm.
can guarantee you it would have been a lot easier if I'd had an expert.
I know, right? What do you guys
Quicker,
think?
faster.
Pardon, sorry, I didn't get that last part.
Would have been a lot faster if I had somebody who already knew how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had no clue. I did figure it out, but
It takes time.
yes, indeed, always.
I personally would prefer to work with an expert if I have a limited time. Like I want to rush it through, and especially if there's a competition and you want to do it like in a jiffy, you got to work with an expert who can tell you, okay, just do this. No thinking, just go straight to it, because they just make your life so much easier. And
For
with
sure.
experience and everything, all the struggle in the business, the moment I hire an expert, things they don't become super smooth, but they become less bumpy, and you have that support to guide you through every step. So I would definitely go with an expert, and I think a lot of people agree with it. What do you
Yeah,
think?
looks like it. From the
Yeah.
comments, looks like people are good down with
Awesome.
the expert idea.
Yeah. Yeah. So we it's I think it's a natural thing to go with an expert when you have limited amount of time and you want to make the most out of it. Cool. So that's out of the way. So we all agree that we're going to work with an expert. Awesome. So just a quick thing about myself, like selling SVGs was one of the number one ways I grew my business. Like I started my whole business was based on selling digital files. First, it was sewing patterns, digital sewing patterns, and then it was SVGs. So they're kind of like the same thing. You design them the same way. SVGs is a little less tedious than sewing patterns, but this was the base of my entire business. But it wasn't just selling any kind of SVGs. You have to make the money making SVGs to actually see the impact. You got to make profitable SVGs, SVGs that people actually want to buy. So here's a quick little intro about me. I'm Jav, SVG business coach and freelance graphic designer. I used to be a freelance graphic designer for Cricut, and I teach graphic designing, SVG designing on cut and make crafts. And I also run a podcast, SVG Business Podcast. Raise your hands if you have listened to one of the SVG Business Podcast episodes. Show me your hands in the comment section. And when I'm not working on SVGs, I'm working as a business analyst. Recently switched my career from biotech to IT, and now I'm working as a business analyst. With me today, we have Elena from Black Sheep Creative. Elena, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Elena Anderson. I'm with Black Sheep 303 Creative. I teach people how to use their Cricut silhouette and scan and cut machines. I also design SVG files. I'm probably, if you weren't here earlier, as I said, I'm probably more well known for being in craft summits than anything else. I do a lot of craft summits. I even have created my own craft summit. But in those summits, I generally do card projects, and that's what I'm probably most well known for. And I try to be very beginner friendly in my tutorials. I also have a YouTube channel that's pretty popular, Black Sheep 303. And I will say that I originally learned to design SVGs in Inkscape. Then I transitioned to Illustrator. Now Jav has kind of got me as a convert to Affinity Designer, so I can answer questions about all three software programs. If you're thinking, if you're wondering why Affinity Designer might be the right one, as far as I'm concerned.
Cool. Cool. Thanks for sharing that, Alina. Yes, Affinity Designer. Since the time I started using the software, I've just fell in love with it because it's so easy, and I love the built-in shapes that they have. And I think Alina agrees with that as
Yes,
well.
big time.
That's my favorite. One of my favorite parts about using Affinity Designer. Alrighty, so I think we have some questions here. Uh, so Kimball is asking, is it possible to design SVGs even if you are not a designer? Yes, I'm from biotech, not related to graphic designing at all. And now I'm doing IT. So totally different thing. And yes, I'm making money from designing and selling SVG cut files. So you don't have to be a designer. You can start with just the basic tools you learn in Affinity Designer. Today we are going to see that. So let's dive straight into the master class. So what qualifies me to teach this class today? I have 9+ experience in designing uh, digital files in Affinity Designer. I have worked for the official Cricut to create SVGs for Design Space. I have sold more than 20,000 SVGs in just a couple of months since I started my SVG business. And I want to share my story with you guys how I got into digital designing. So when I was back in 2019, I was working full time. I was overworked, stressed out, and I needed some extra cash. So this was actually back in 2014, not 2019. So back in 2014, I was a new student, a biotech student, and I wanted some source of income, and I didn't want to get a regular job at a cafe or something. I wanted something that was passive. So initial it, like when I started my business, I had this thing like I want passive income, something that would run at the back, and I didn't have to put a lot of effort. And that's why I started with digital designing. I used to sell handmade bags and then switched to selling sewing patterns. And I started creating my digital designs while I was studying full time in 2014. I was struggling a lot because there was barely any resources available. And after 2 years of struggle, I finally was able to streamline the entire process of designing files in Affinity Designer. And in 2019, I started designing SVGs after I bought my Cricut. In 2020, I launched my SVG shop, and in 2021, I got hired by Cricut. In August 2020, I started selling 3D SVG cut files, and in the first month, I made around $2,000. The first month I launched my SVG shop, I made 2,000 Australian dollars, which is around 1,500 USD. So these are my designs, and they were super, super popular when I released them back then in 2020. It took people by surprise. People loved the presentation, the designs, and everything. And these are the design based on uh and this is a design which got Cricut to reach out to me and ask me to design SVGs for them. Now I'm making full-time income from my shop, from my blog, from my SVGs, from I do SVG, I share SVG tutorials in summits, and all of these things are working together to help me make income from SVG cut files. And thanks to my SVG business, I'm making a full time income, working just 5 to 10 hours per week. And I have a sustainable business that works on autopilot, and I don't have to put a lot of effort. And thanks to this uh, business that runs on autopilot, I can go back to my career and start a full time job. So I'm working a full time job while my business is running at the back. And most importantly, I'm able to support my family. Able to make extra income doing something I love. And we have a lot of extra cash that we can use for traveling and to support our families back at home. We're supporting four families together, just the two of us. So it gives us a lot of freedom to use our money the way we want. Alrighty, so let's get dive straight in. Three terrible mistakes to avoid when designing SVGs. How are you guys feeling so far? Just a little quick check in. Elena, would you like to add something?
I think that's pretty amazing what you're saying, what you've done, and the fact
Oh,
that you have a full time job on top of doing all that is extremely impressive.
thank you. Thank you so much.
She knows
Awesome.
what
So
she's
I think
talking
we have
about.
one question in the. Sorry, were you saying it something?
I said, you know what you're talking about.
Oh, thank you. So, quick, there's a question. Can the SVG market not get oversaturated? We will get, that's a very, very important question. We are going to come back to it later. I've seen it. And Alina, could you please remind me to answer this question? I may forget it later on.
Okay.
And there's another question, is Etsy your recommended platform? Yes, we will take all these questions at the end. Let's go through the slides first. Three terrible mistakes to avoid when creating SVGs. So this is something I see a lot of people do when they start creating SVG cut files. Number one is not learning to use a professional illustration software. So for me, I'll share my experience. When I am designing something and I'm using a software, I want it to be extremely smooth and user friendly, or else it just adds up to the frustration when I'm not able to use the software the way I want. And if the software is glitchy, I have had this experience when I've used Inkscape. I'm sorry, people, those who love using Inkscape. I just cannot stand that software. It has given me so much trouble that yeah, I just can't stand it. So and it just makes your life 10 times difficult. You're like, you start questioning yourself, like, is this me or is this the software? So yeah, that's something that I would highly recommend. Use a professional software that doesn't make your life difficult, because if you use a glitchy software like Inkscape and sometimes Design Space, where designs just disappear all of a sudden, you just end up getting super frustrated, and you don't understand the mechanisms of designing SVGs, like terminologies, and you're just stuck in that phase of dealing with that glitchy software. And you don't get, when you don't have that knowledge of using a professional software, you don't get the designs learning concept, you don't get help from people. Like some of the software that are unknown and not so popular, it's hard to find uh, help from people to use that software. Like, for example, when I was starting off with Affinity, it was very, very new. And I was really struggling to find a community that could answer my questions about Affinity Designer. Now the group has grown a lot. And, but, uh, but back then it was a huge struggle. So that's why I recommend using a software that is popular and there's some has some sort of community base where you can go in and ask questions. So when you start using professional software, you uh, you you can start creating beautiful designs, and you will actually feel excited to design new SVGs. You'll be excited to create SVGs, to publish the SVGs in your shop and get those sales coming in. So a lot of times people, when they come to me, they're so frustrated, and a lot of this frustration is coming from not having a good software. So that's one thing you need to look into. Here's a quick testimonial from one of my students, and she was initially jumping through YouTube videos, and she wasn't finding the right solution for herself, which would help her in designing SVGs. But when she started this program and she started learning SVG designing in Affinity Designer, she was able to start creating SVGs and putting them in her shop. And within 2 months, she was able to make back one by third of her investment. That is super, super impressive, guys. So once, so the other mistake that a lot of people make is they start creating basic designs. I know as a beginner, it's very easy to just jump in and start creating designs that are easy, that you think are that's something people are gonna buy. But customers want designs that they cannot make themselves. So this is especially for people who want to sell their designs. If you are creating basic designs, it's going to be very hard to sell them, because I've done that. I've been there, I've done that. And with all my huge audience, I had like 100K people on my Instagram. I had 20K people on my email list, and I created some very basic designs, and I thought people were going to buy them, but I did not get a single sale. So I'm talking from experience. Customers want designs that they cannot make. They don't want plain and simple designs that look low quality. So if you are in thinking about selling SVG designs, you really need to take your game up a notch. You got to go above and beyond and make your SVGs look like they're a piece of work. I mean, they're a piece of an art. Like I have two SVGs over here, and you can tell which one looks more artistic than the other one. Like one of them is just a simple text written in Design Space without any modifications done to it, and a simple image placed to it. But on the right hand side, there is some kind of effort put into the design. What do you guys think? What do you think, Elena?
Yeah, I think that's pretty obvious. The
Well,
glyphs alone that you've added make just up that tremendously.
Yeah,
The
it
glyphs
looks
on the
like a piece
letters.
of art, right?
Yeah.
Like something you would want to invest in rather than something you can just type in design space yourself, right? So people want to
Yep.
buy designs that look really, I mean, really out of really something unique and something they cannot make themselves. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Cass. Yes, so we could all see that what these are the designs that people actually want to buy. They don't want to buy basic designs that they can make themselves. And right now, design space is getting better and better. And it's so easy to create all those text-based SVGs. So if somebody can easily create them in design space, why will they go and buy your SVG that looks as basic as what they can make, right? It makes sense.
Right.
So plain and simple designs are out. What's in is complicated, beautiful designs. So plain. So if you make basic designs that look low quality, people are not gonna buy them because they don't look like it's a work of designer, and nobody wants to buy basic designs. So you have boring designs, no sales, and no customers, and you end up saying like the SVG market is too saturated. Nobody wants to buy my design. This is a scam and whatnot. But the problem is that your designs are not what people actually want. So if you learn how to design complex designs, it will help you create anything that comes to your mind without the frustration, and it will help you in getting more customers. For example, one of my students, Toby, she has a full-time job and she does this on the side, and you can see how beautiful her designs are. They are, you can see it's a work of art. There's so many different layers. There's so much going on in those designs. Like, you look at them and you want to say, okay, I want to learn to make this. I'm going to invest money in this SVG so I can learn to create that design, right? Rather than something basic, which is just out there and everybody's selling the same thing. So you could go and check her shop. She has like around 4,000 sales right now. And she does this part time. She doesn't even do this full time. And she is making money because she's putting out these beautiful, complex designs. The third mistake is not getting an expert's advice. A lot of times I see people create designs in a vacuum. They just upload it in their shop, and it's just based on what they think. They don't have any expert's advice or opinion, which will tell them that how their design is doing. So when you don't have experts advice, you barely make any progress. You're just doing what you know, and you don't end up getting what you want. And I've seen people who have come to me after they have tried doing everything on their own. They've made no progress, stuck for in the same place for 6 months. They've given up, and then they found my course, and then they learned the designing, and now they are selling hundreds and hundreds of SVGs per month. I have my student. I'll share her a testimonial in a couple of minutes. So if you work with an expert, you get feedback, you get guidance, and you get motivation whenever you get stuck. So the bottom line is SVGs can make a ton of money, but you got to create money making profitable SVGs to make money. All right. Now let's look at the 3 easy steps for custom SVGs, gorgeous SVGs in Affinity Designer. So my quick formula is PDT. Let's have a look at what this stands for. So the simple secret for designing any kind of SVG is to first plan, then do the design, and then test it out before you even use it for any project. So these 3 things are very, very important in an SVG designing journey. And once you get these things right, you'll have SVGs that cut smoothly. How many people here have problem with material tearing apart and SVGs not working? Raise your hands in the comment section. Elena, have you ever had that issue?
I used to quite a bit.
Yeah.
Kind of learned the tricks around that.
Yeah. Like if you like once you start planning and using all those tips and tricks, then you can have SVGs that cut smoothly. Like a lot of times I have also had this issue. Like I designed this SVG and I try to cut it out on a paper and it just rips the material off. And you're like, what the hell is going on here? Yeah, so a lot of people have experienced that. Well, there are certain things that you can do to your SVGs to make sure that they cut smoothly, and it's all part of the planning phase. So let's look into that, and uh, new questions are coming up, and we'll get back to them during the Q&A session. All righty, so let's quickly look over plan, design, and test. So planning, what comes into planning? What material? Who's the target audience? And what's the cutting machine you're targeting? That is very, very important because material, paper crafts, paper craft SVGs are going to be different to the vinyl SVGs. Why? Because paper is thicker and you cannot have very, very thin SVGs for thick materials. They will work fine in on vinyl, but on paper, it's going to rip the paper apart. So before you even start designing, think about whether this project is going to be cut on the paper or this project is going to be cut on the vinyl. That goes for anybody who is designing for personal or commercial use. The second question, who's the target audience? So if you're designing to sell your SVGs, you got to keep in mind whether it's going to be a very intricate project, because as a beginner, an intricate project is going to look very difficult to someone who's a beginner. So you got to think about whether you're targeting a beginner audience or a an advanced audience. Lastly, what's the cutting machine that you're targeting? Because certain SVG files, like I know like Silhouette uses EPS and Cricut uses SVG. So you got to decide what file format you're going to create as well. Here's a quick testimonial from one of my students, and she just made $3,000 from SVGs in 2023. She started her shop back in 2021, and she made $122 in November of that. So she started in November 2021, and she made 122. In 2022, she continued actively promoting her shop and everything. And in 2023, she made $3,000 from SVGs. So it is possible to make money. You just got to do it the right way. So the next step is design. Once you have planned your material and everything, you can start designing and build a foundation for designing. So a lot of people, they come to me and they spend 1 hour designing SVG, and the next hour they are selling their SVG in on Etsy store. What's the problem with that? I mean, you cannot master SVG designing in 1 hour and then start selling next hour. You got to learn to create. You got to first practice designing all the different designs, and then create designs based on what's in demand. First, design for practice. Create free SVG designs because you're just learning the skills. You're just learning how to create those designs. And once you have created those designs, you can start thinking about selling them. So don't just jump onto selling your SVGs right away. Like a lot of times, I've had people come to me saying they bought a design on Etsy and it doesn't cut properly. And the reason why that is because the files are not designed properly. So, for example, I created this file using the one on the left hand side is I created using PNG to SVG converter, and you can see the quality, horrible, horrible quality. Nobody can cut this on vinyl. But on the right hand side is the SVG I created from scratch in Affinity Designer. And everybody can understand how easy it'll be to cut this SVG. Right? What do you guys think? Which one looks easier to cut? What do you think, Elena?
Oh, for sure, the one on the right.
Yeah. It's like it's right in your face. Like
Yeah,
a lot of people are actually selling the designs that are on the left hand side. I've seen those,
yeah.
and it's terrible. It's bad for the customers. It's bad for the person selling them. So these are things you need to keep in mind when if you want to sell SVG designs. And we have already talked about this one. Here's another one. So these are the things you need to keep in mind when it comes to designing. Here are some of the works done by my students. These are all the SVGs by different students. There's a money card. This was very popular. Then there's a gift box. All the beautiful work done by my students. So when you create SVGs like this, you can easily start making money from SVG cut files. These are the SVGs people want to buy. These are the SVGs people will throw money at you to buy them. So once you have planned your design, you have created your design, you got to test it out. You got to take all the tips down, and then you got to include those tips. You got to keep those tips for yourself and for your customers. So this is your job as an SVG designer to provide those tips and instructions on how to best cut and assemble your SVG. So make sure you test your designs out and then only put them in your shop or for personal use as well. So here are some more examples of designs created by my students. Some boxes, some t-shirt SVGs and everything. And this is the shop that I was talking about by one of my students. And here's another one of my students. Alrighty. So in order to make money from SVGs, you need to create profitable SVGs. You just can't make any design and expect a sale from it. All right. So let's have a look at, now we're going to design a quick card SVG, and I'm going to show you guys how to add an image inside Affinity Designer and create your own SVG cut files. Who's ready?
I'm ready.
Yay! Let's get started. So let me know if you guys can see my screen. Let me start sharing I'll share the entire screen. So here I am in Affinity Designer. So, excuse me. So let me know if you guys can see the Affinity Designer, and I'll just be looking at the chat box on my website. Alrighty, so let's get straight in. So this is what Affinity Designer looks like. Don't be scared. It looks very intimidating, but I'm going to show you guys the tools that you need to create some basic SVGs. And um, and one thing I want to highlight is like this is a very complex software, very versatile software with lots of things that you can do. But in this class, we will only focus on the tools that you need to create SVG cut files. We are not going to look at irrelevant tools. All right, let's begin and make the most of this limited time. So to create right now, you can see everything is switched off. Like you can't choose any icons here, you can't do anything here. And to turn everything on, we need to first add a canvas over here. So go to your file and click on new, and it'll ask you, it'll give you all these options to create a new file. So you can select a pre-made template from this left hand side panel, or you can go into the middle section and start modifying this. So for example, I like to work in inches, so I'm going to select that. And over here, I can set my own um measurements. So I like to work on a large canvas because I like to do a lot of messy stuff. My canvas looks very messy when I'm designing. So I like to have lots of space. So I like to do it 40 by 20 inch. And another thing, very, very important, to maintain the size of your SVG and to make sure that it exports in the correct size, make sure you change this to 72 dpi. This is very, very important when you are creating designs in Affinity Designer. So 72 dpi, leave everything as it is, create an artboard, and just click on create. And there you go. You have your first artboard or canvas in Affinity Designer. It's called artboard. In Design Space, it's called canvas. So it's the same thing. So here's your canvas, and you can see that all the tools have now lighted up. That means we can go in and start using all of these tools. So on the left hand side, we've got all our tools. On the top, we've got our toolbar with all the extra options. On the right hand side, we've got our swatches. We've got our stroke width. This is very important. We're going to come to this later. And then we've got our layers panel as well. This is very important thing to work with. And if you guys are not able to see any of these, you can just go to window and check the things that you want to view. So make sure your layers is ticked, make sure your swatches are ticked, your transform is ticked. So you need to have all of these on your left or right hand side. Alrighty. Now let's get started with designing the actual SVG. So we're going to create a card SVG and a text-based SVG. I'll try to squeeze in two different types of SVGs in just a couple of minutes to give you guys an idea on how to create SVGs in Affinity Designer. So to create the card SVG, I can use all of these pre-made shapes that come in Affinity Designer. So we've got a a huge library of shapes. And we were just talking about these before the class started. Elena and I were just discussing how cool
Yeah.
these are, right?
One of the best things, totally.
Yeah,
Illustrator does not have those.
it just makes your life so much easier.
Yeah.
So to create the card, I'm gonna grab the rectangle tool and I'm gonna bring my cursor to the canvas. I'm just gonna click and drag. Now I want my card to be 12 by 6. And I can set the exact measurements in the transform panel. So I can go to the width and set it as 12, and the height I want it to be 6. So this is why transform panel is so handy, because you can just type in the measurements and create your rectangle. Alrighty, so now I have my rectangle and I want to add a score line to divide this rectangle from the center, so I know that this part is where I can create my design. So I'm going to go and grab my pen tool and I'm going to place a line. So in Affinity, you also have this option, those pre-made lines, guidelines you can get when you are working. So you got to make sure that your snapping is on from here. And when you bring your pen to the rectangle, it'll show you exactly where the center point is. So this is my center point. I'm going to place a dot here, and then I am going to place a dot here, and you can see it's a straight line. So now we have our score line in place. Super easy. And I'm going to leave it as it is. Now I want to add some design on the card over here. So let's make a Valentine's Day card. I'm going to grab my artistic text tool and I'm going to bring my cursor to the canvas and I'm going to click and drag. Now, clicking and dragging gives you the freedom to increase the size. Now, if I just click randomly, uh, it will choose whatever size. So since I've already clicked and dragged and selected my size, um, this is the actual size that's coming up. Anyway, so let's go back in and write our text. So happy Valentine's Day. Can everybody see this? So this is a text, and now I can go in and modify this text from the font, from this toolbar, and you can see that we have the font family here, and you can choose whatever fonts are given. So a lot of times I get this question, will this font work in Affinity Designer? Yes. So whatever font you install on your computer, Affinity Designer is going to pick that font up and it will show you over here. So all these fonts are installed on my computer. So I'm going to select one of those fonts, and now this is a very important tip. When you're designing SVGs for paper crafts, you want to choose a bold font, something like this, or maybe one of my favorites. Where is it? Just give me a moment. This one, I really love this one. So you can see that these are bold fonts. You want to choose fonts that are bold and easy to cut on paper. I would avoid using something like this because this is very thin and fragile, and this will definitely rip the material off. I don't recommend using it even for vinyl projects because it's so thin. So for paper crafts, you need to go for thick fonts if you want to avoid getting your materials ripped. So I'm going to go with this one, and let's modify it to look like this. And next, I am going to add some hearts. So you have heart tool over here. You don't have to go in and create a heart from scratch. You can just grab this heart tool, and let's color this up. This is going to disappear, but we're just using it as a guide. So you can have this in the center and two hearts at the corner. And let's flip this around. Alrighty. So this is the base of our card. And now I want to create like a cutout. So I want this to be a see-through card, and I want this to be like a cookie cutter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the text, and I'm going to press shift, and then I'm going to select the background, the actual card base. And then I'm going to go to my Boolean operations, and I'm going to click on subtract. And now you can see there is a cutout in the center. Can everybody see that? Let me add a little rectangle at the back. All right. So can you guys see this? So we have a nice little Valentine's Day cutout. And now I am going to cut out these instead of having them on top, you can have these cut as well. So I'm going to select all of these shapes, and then I'm going to select the background, and I'm going to do subtract again. And there you go. So now we have a card with cutouts, and you can see this is the top section, and then this is the bottom section. How cool and easy was that? Are you guys with me?
How long did that take you? Like 5 minutes?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
easy. You see, you guys, you don't need to be a graphic designer to create your own SVGs. It's so simple when you learn how to use the software. Such a cute little project with just like 5 minutes of work, right? And you don't need to be a graphic designer. So easy and quick. So that is one thing. All right, so we have our score line here. Let's bring it to the top. We've got our score line, we got our background, we got our card, and that's it. Our card is ready. Now, to export this card, you first need to convert this rectangle to curve. Your SVGs will not work if all the sections of your designs are set as curve. Make sure everything is appears as a curve before you start exporting your design. So let me place this here, and I'm going to group everything together. So I'm going to select uh, everything, draw a big rectangle, selection rectangle, select everything, and then I'm going to group it together. And then I'm going to click on File, Export, Selection Only. And I get this question a lot of times. People want to export, but they don't see the option selection only. That's because you haven't selected anything on your artboard. So make sure you select this design and then go to export and click on selection only. And from drop down, you got to select SVGs, SVG for export, and use document resolution. Uncheck all of these boxes and then click on export. Save it as Valentine's card. And now we're going to open this in Design Space and check if everything is perfect. So you can see over here, the size of this file is 12 by 6 inches. Let's go to Design Space and see what that looks like. New project. Oops, no. Upload image. Alrighty, so let's look for our card. Here it is. And let's upload this. And here we are in Design Space, and you can see it's a 12 by 6 inch card, exact same measurement. We've got our score line, we've got everything. And there you go. In 5 minutes, you have created a cute little card for Valentine's Day. Now, a lot of times I get this question: how do you add your own design to Affinity Designer? So let's go to Creative Fabrica and download a free SVG. So a lot of times you can incorporate a certain design in your SVG and sell it as a new SVG. So Creative Fabrica has all the details on the licensing. So you can go to their website, and if you go down, so let me open this one. A lot of times people think that they can just take any SVG and sell it as it is. No, it doesn't work like that. You got to follow the rules that are given over here about incorporating other designs in your SVGs. So if you go down over here, it's I think in terms of service or
So,
somewhere you, yeah, single sale licenses. So in under the license you can find details on how to use the files. Yep, here are all the details. So it's clearly says that you can use other people's design in your design to create something new. So for example, you can use this SVG to create this, but not this, because you're using it as it is. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to use one of the SVG elements. So I can't use all of these because this is already part of someone else's design. I can use like, let's see, we can use these cute spring foxes. I can take one fox from here and put it in a new design. Or I can use the spring rainbow in and incorporate it in my own design. and make something new out of it so it doesn't look exactly the same. We can
And
use this.
just to pitch Creative Fabrica for a second, getting off the subject, but Creative Fabrica is really the only website that lets you do that.
Yep, exactly. And they're so good, like they're so helpful and everything. All right, we can use this Valentine strawberry milk. Let's use this example. All right, so I'm going to download this SVG and I'm going to save it on my in my downloads folder. Let's go and check this. So in my downloads, you can see that this is a zip file. We need to unzip it, extract all. Let's look at the file. Here it is. All right. So now I am going to use one of the SVGs. So this is the SVG. This is the black version. Let's use this. So I'm going to click and drag it into a new file. You got to drag it into a new file. And there you go. So this is the SVG. Now I can grab this SVG from here. I can select this, Control C, and I can bring it to my project, which is this one. And now I can use this SVG to create a brand new SVG. So for example, I'm going to modify this and now I'm going to add some text here. Uh, who can give me a quick little ice cream related Valentine's quote? Any ideas, Elena?
I melt for you.
Okay, cool. I love that. I'll melt for you. Cool. And there you go. Now you have combined an SVG, and you can go in and modify this uh, further. You can use other kind of fonts, like you can use this one, this too thin. You can use this one and increase the stroke width. And with Affinity Designer, you also get these pre-made typography tools. So you go to your text and then click on show typography, and they will give you all these alternate styles. It automatically adds swashes to your basic design and creates something new out of it. How cool is that? Like you don't even have to go in and change these one at a time. You can just go in and click any of these and create a new design. And there you go. You have a brand new SVG uh, coupled with an actual SVG that you can get from creative websites like Creative Fabrica and stuff like that. So I don't recommend using this SVG exactly for creating a SVG for vinyl because this is very, very thin, but this is just an idea on how you can create a text-based SVG. And to use this SVG, you need to convert this to curve. So you're gonna right click and convert to curve, and then you gotta export it. So I don't have enough time to go into the details. So that is all about creating SVGs. So let's take a pause and let's do a quick round of questions before we move on to the next part. So let me know if you guys have any questions.
We've got the couple from earlier.
Yeah. So let's have a look at those questions. Thanks for the reminder, Elena.
So one question was, is the SVG market oversaturated?
All right. So no, it is not. Because why? Because just 2 months ago, in December, one of my students, she launched her shop, and within 2 weeks, she just had two designs, and within 2 weeks, she got around 200 sales with just two designs. What was her secret? She knows her market. Like she has been in the handmade party crafts industry for I think 10 years. So she was creating and selling handmade party crafts. Now she wants passive income. So she's switching from uh, handmade business to passive income, and she knows her market very, very well. So based on her knowledge, she created two SVG designs that would solve a specific problem for the party industry niche for her audience. And within 2 weeks she made 200 sales with a very, very simple SVG. She just created uh, a Pringle box hat, so it makes the Pringle box looks like a cowboy hat. It was such a simple SVG, and she created another one to hold those tumbler cans. Just two SVGs, very unique, and she's got so much sales, so many sales. So I would say no, the SVG industry is not saturated. You just gotta learn to understand your audience's needs and create SVGs targeted towards their needs to solve their problems. I've also done a podcast on this. You can go and check that out on my SVG Business podcast. All right. The next question is, how much does Affinity Designer cost? It is a one-off purchase of $50 to $60. And if you buy in the Black Friday season, you get 40% off. So it's one-off purchase. I purchased my first version back in 2013. I used it for like 8 years. And just in November 2022, I purchased their latest version, which came out for another $50. So I've only spent $100 on Affinity Designer in my entire life. That is so cheap.
And
So cheap, guys.
yeah, that is so cheap because Illustrator is, I think, $20 a month.
Yep.
So
And I couldn't afford it. That's why I went to
yeah.
Affinity Designer. All right, so let's jump back into the master class. So they don't do the updates very often. This update came out like after 10 years. This was like a new version. So yeah, it doesn't happen very often. All right, so let's get back into the master class. We covered three mistakes to avoid, which is not learning to use a professional software and creating basic designs and not working with an expert. You got to avoid these three mistakes if you want to stand out. And you got to follow this step by step process. You got to plan your design and then practice that design, then test that design before you start selling that design or sharing that design. So the framework that I shared with you guys is not based on theory. It's been tested and proven to work by hundreds of my students who are already making a full-time income. Now, if you take one thing away, I want you to know that you can make money from SVGs without the frustration, without the constant struggle. It's possible. You just got to do it the right way. You got to create profitable SVGs using the framework that I've outlined for you to create to be able to make money from these SVGs. So the question is, how can you apply this to your design process and make gorgeous custom SVGs that also cut smoothly and also sell like hotcakes? Now, you can waste a ton of time and effort trying to figure it out on your own, alone, without any kind of help. I've done that. It's not fun. It's very, very annoying. It's very, very frustrating. And it puts you back it holds you back from growing your business. So you have two options. You can stay stuck where you are, trying to figure things out, the details of designing high quality SVG cut files that are loved by everyone, wasting your own time and just coming up with those basic designs. Or you can fast track everything and start creating money making SVGs with my 3-step framework in SVG Superstar. So say hello to SVG Superstar. This is the one and only course where you can learn to design money making SVG cut files that also sell like hotcakes in an affordable software, Affinity Designer, using my fail proof 3-step framework in less than 30 days. Even if you have zero knowledge of designing SVG cut files, I can promise you, if you put aside 30 days, 1 hour every day towards SVG designing, you are gonna walk out with all the skills to create amazing designs that you have seen previously, and the designs that you are seeing here right now, those flowers, those cake toppers, those t-shirt SVGs. This is all possible, and we have seen it today how easy it is to create SVGs in Affinity Designer with just some few tools. You can create such gorgeous designs, such cute designs in a jiffy. Imagine all the things yet you can do once you have mastered all the tools that are given in Affinity Designer. Right now, we just looked at 3 tools. There's so much there, and you can do that. And once you learn how to use that, you'll be able to create all these gorgeous designs, just like my students. So, once you graduate from this course, you'll have a thorough understanding of using Affinity Designer for designing SVGs. You will have my 3-step framework for creating literally any SVG cut file. This is the framework that my students have used to get 1,000+ sales from their shops, a combined sales of $20,000. Sorry, 20,000 in total. 20,000 sales, not $20,000. So you will learn how to create professional, high quality cut files that are noticed by companies like Cricut. So my designs were selected by Cricut. One of my students' designs were also, thanks to her designs, she was listed as one of the top 10 designers in the UK by Cricut. I think I have her a screenshot up in the slides upcoming, and her design was also featured in on Design Bundle's main page of their websites. So inside SVG Superstar, you are gonna get the basics. You're gonna learn the basics of working with SVGs. You're gonna learn how to install the software. You're gonna learn how to create text-based SVGs, how to create cake toppers, flower SVGs, 3D SVGs, like the one you can see over here. And you're also going to get this handbook with step-by-step written instructions to refer to when you are designing SVG cut files. You're also going to get this 3 months of VIP Facebook group support valued at about $2,000. And inside this group, you get a lot of perks. You get the chance to get your SVG shop featured in my newsletter, which goes out to around 30,000 crafters. And using this strategy, a lot of my clients quickly got a ton of sales in their shop just because I featured their designs in my store, in my newsletter. You're going to get support from experts inside the group. We also have a legal expert. She is an attorney in New York, and she's a trademark and copyrights attorney, and she's present inside the group to help you with your trademark and copyrights questions. You get that inside the group. You get accountability, you get motivational support to work on your business, to work on your designs. And for those of you who enroll right now, you're also going to get this bonus module on how to package and sell your designs. We get a lot of questions from people how to design and package the designs for Etsy. So if you are interested in that, join right now. So there is a button under here which will take you to the checkout. So if you click on the button, you will be able to enroll in the course right now at this special price. So somebody has already joined the course. Welcome, Trudy Gold. I can see that you are already in the course. Yay! A huge clap for Trudy for taking the action. Great job, Trudy. So Trudy is in the course. Let's see who jumps in right now and gets this amazing bundle on how to design and sell SVG cut files on Etsy.
I
So,
want to mention, can I jump in for a second?
yeah,
Like
sure. Go
the
ahead.
knowing, getting advice on like how to write your listings, how to take photos, how to present your files on Etsy is really important. Because you can design great SVGs, but if you don't know how to list them, you don't know how to show them properly, you won't get any sales. So you
Yep,
kind of need both things. So this
exactly.
is a fantastic bonus.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Elena. I cannot stress how important it is. And somebody asked the question, do you show us how to set up a shop? Um, the basic setting of an Etsy shop is covered in, you can find it on YouTube, but I do cover how to create product listings, how to create mock-ups for the product listings, how to write the product descriptions. You get a template, a pre-made template that you can just copy and paste and modify it with your own wordings, and you don't even have to start writing from scratch. You can just take that and start using that, and you get details on how to create beautiful mock-ups, how to present your SVG design so that it catches people's attention. So all of that is included in this package. And this package is only available for people who join while we are talking right now. So while this masterclass is in progress, if you join the course right now, you're going to get this module for free. So get started right now for just a small price of $197. And if you sign up right now, you're going to get my SVG Superstar course, and you're going to get this card making bundle contributed by the amazing Elena, and you're also going to get this how to package and sell SVG cut files. It doesn't get any better, you guys. You're getting so much value for just $197. Elena, would you like to talk about this card making bundle?
Sure. So I mostly design SVGs that are cards, and I usually teach you how to make them at summits. I've been in a lot of summits. And so this collection is my six most popular card designs. So these are kind of like six classes that will teach you how to make these six different cards, and you'll get the SVG file. You'll also get bonus files that were available at the time that these were in a summit, but they were only available for 24 hours for free at the time of the individual summits. Or when people purchased a VIP pass, they would have access to them. But there are multiple summits included in this package, so you're not going to have, I would be surprised even if you've bought one or two VIP passes from summits I've been in, you don't have all of these. So here is one. This is from Cricket Craft Fest. This is probably like my most popular card ever from Cricket Craft Fest. We've got a pop-up card. It is a birthday card. And all of these are beginner friendly. This is an ornament that is removable. That's also a card. And it stays on by itself. Got a slimline card that's more of a spring theme. This is a cherry blossom card.
So cute.
But you notice, like, I like to do, you might notice on this one, I like to do pretty thin paper, intricate paper crafting designs. And
Mhm.
I will tell you in those classes, like, how do you get this to cut correctly? So that can be helpful. And then the last one, this is not the original, but this is the version I've got of the last one. So this is like a really quick and easy holiday card that you can do. But again, like if you look at the background, there are tricks to getting that to cut properly. And
Woohoo!
then you
So
got bonus envelopes and stuff with that.
cool.
Oh, hey,
That's so
Suze, you made
awesome.
my pop-up card. Cool. Nice. And
Awesome.
was it easy to do? Like I try to design things so that even though it looks like you've spent a whole bunch of time, it's actually easy, even for beginners.
Yep. So this, it doesn't get any better than this, guys. So grab this special bundle. This is only available as part of this masterclass. We have jumped in together and thrown our products together to give you guys the best value possible. So if you go to this webpage, I'll just post this comment here. If you go to cutandmakecrafts.com/jv dash masterclass, you will see a button right under that to join the program. So let me just share my screen with you guys and make it easy for everybody. So we have another person enrolled, Celine. Welcome to SVG
Yay!
Superstar, Celine. Great
Yay!
job. So let me just share my screen here. My page is loading. Just give me a moment. So Sue says that she added metallic cardstock and they look so professional.
Oh, nice,
Wow.
nice, great.
Nice touch.
Yeah. And I encourage people to always like take the design and make it your own. Do what you want with it.
Yeah.
But let me just jump in for a second and talk up Jav here for a minute because she's a really good teacher. I'm very picky about you know making sure that people teach from a beginner standpoint, and I assume that chances are you most of the people here don't know how to make SVGs at all. Like you have no idea. And I'm assuming that maybe that's not correct, but I would think so. And she does a really excellent job of being super beginner friendly, like explaining from the very basics up to the very complicated in a super understandable and very encouraging manner, which I think is invaluable.
Thank
She's
you
gonna
so much.
she's gonna make you feel like you can do it, even though you're gonna get frustrated because you will. That's just normal. But she realizes that and is right there with you.
Thank you. Thank you so
The
much for
affinity
sharing that,
the
Elena.
affinity designer program, I think, as somebody who has mostly designed in Illustrator, there are things in there that are a lot easier to use than Illustrator, and it's way less expensive
Yep,
and just as
definitely.
professional a result.
Yep. So I'm gonna start taking questions. Thank you so much for sharing that, Elena. That was really, really sweet of you.
I'm just being honest.
So if you go to this page, jv-masterclass, cutandmakecrafts.com, jv-masterclass, if you just scroll down, you will see this button to enroll in the masterclass. And you click on this button and it will take you to the 3 pricing tiers. Let's go over the tiers. So first one is the basic tier. You get access to 6 modules and 40 plus videos and 5 to 6 different projects for designing SVG cut files. Now, if you are someone who is interested in selling your SVG cut files, you can upgrade to the pro version, and in this version you get the copyrights and trademarks masterclass. You get 3 lessons on finding SVG design ideas that people want to buy. So if you want to create SVGs to sell, this is a great tier to go for, the pro version. And you get 6 gift box SVG design lessons, 4 card SVG design lessons, 10 advanced text SVG design lessons, 5 mandala design lessons, 3 cake topper lessons, and 6 3D layered SVG design lessons. So on top of the 40 videos, you get a ton of more stuff in the pro version. And then we have the business version for those of you who want to work with me one on one in a coaching program to create your own SVG. So in this version, you get email marketing, Instagram marketing, Pinterest marketing, masterclass on how to make extra SVGs from how to make extra dollars from SVGs, writing money making SVG descriptions, and one on one coaching calls, and so much more. It's great for anybody who wants to start making start an SVG business. So these are all available on discount right now, and I can go in and show you guys what SVG Superstar looks like. So these this is my course platform. So let's go to SVG Superstar Basic. So once you sign up for the basic, these are all the things that you're going to get. Welcome version, welcome module, and then we have the text design SVG module. These are all the lessons inside the module, and these are all videos. A lot of time I get questions like, is it a written or is it a video tutorial? So you can see these are all video tutorials based on the latest version of SVG Designer, text-based SVGs. Then you've got your tracing SVGs, you got your assignments, and then you got ton of advanced lessons, how to create 3D shadow box SVG, which is this one. And then you get how to make a hard box SVG. These are all bonus lessons included in the basic version. So if you're interested in getting this, sign up now at this very, very affordable price. This is a very great value that you can get. All right. So thank you guys for being so patient. I'm going to start taking questions right now. So, Alina, do you have any questions written or something?
Well, I'm seeing
Where
one
we
here on the screen that I think is important to answer.
Mhm.
So Christine is asking, do you have to start the class right away, or can she wait until she's back from vacation?
Yes, you can start whenever you want. As soon as you are back from your vacation, you can start whenever you're ready. That's totally up to you. Your offer is still going to be there. So it doesn't matter when you start. Once you start, you can join the Facebook group and you'll have 3 months from there um, to start creating your SVGs.
Well, you could really like buy it today and start in a year if you wanted to,
Yeah.
because you're pre-recorded. So you got
And
lots of time. I've got another question. Was somebody asked if Etsy is your recommended platform for
yes.
selling?
So when you are starting out, I recommend using Etsy because they already have a built-in base. So this offer is $197. It's not $167. So I'm not sure where the $167 is there, but that's not the correct price. The actual price right now is $197, and you're getting all of these three things for $197 if you purchase right now. All right, so let's have another question.
Somebody else wanted to know how much money is like 100 sales of an SVG
That's a good
roughly.
question, and that is totally up to you. So if you are pricing your SVGs for $5, 100 sales will give you $500. Here's a quick story from one of my students. So she started my program. So she had been designing SVGs and she had like 5 to 10 listings in her store. But for 6 months, she was stuck in one place. She wasn't making any sale. And then she found my program and she joined. And within 4 months of enrolling into SVG Superstar, she made more than $2,000 from what she learned in the program because she got all these instructions and step-by-step videos on creating SVGs. So she just put her head down and she started populating her store with tens and thousands of, hundreds of SVGs. And within a couple of months, she started seeing so much traction in her shop. So if you look at her, let me share her testimonial with you guys. So I don't think it's here, but in within like 7 months, she had like 500 sales in her store. And that's just a couple of months after she joined my program. She loves creating 3D SVGs. You can go to her shop right now and you can see her designs right now. And she creates these beautiful 3D SVGs, and they're so popular. And now she is selling on three different shops. So she has one shop on Etsy, one on Design Bundles, one on Creative Fabrica, and she's just making in passive income. And she was even sick for a while, and her sales were coming in. She was so happy. So it really works if you do the work. The question is not about if you're going to make the money back, it's about how many times you'll be able to do that with the all the knowledge that you gain inside the program. Because my promise to you is, if you follow these steps as laid out in the course, you will be able to create high quality SVGs that actually customers want in less than 30 days. So if you're ready to master SVG designing, to sell SVGs, or for personal use, this is your time. Click the enroll now button, and I will see you inside the course. Two people have already taken the action. This is your chance. This is your chance to learn from someone who has been there, done that, and be in a group of people who are on the same journey, who can support you in creating your own SVGs. This is your chance to build a business that you can bounce on in the worst case scenario. You can start building your business right now, one step at a time. Don't spend your precious time spiraling through YouTube videos, bunny hopping through YouTube videos, through Facebook groups, asking for help, looking for experts, because you're getting everything inside this program for just $197. Now, here's a question from you. Who do you want to learn from? Random strangers who have no experience in designing and selling SVG cut files? Or do you want to learn from an expert who has been there, done that, who knows what goes into creating SVGs that cut smoothly and bring 5-star raving reviews? The the choice is yours. You are an adult. You are in a position to make this choice yourself. So I'm not gonna force you or blackmail you into buying this course. You can make your own choice. All the information is up here in front of you. So think for yourself and make the right choice. What are you going to choose? In SVG Superstar Basic, you're going to get proven step-by-step plan to create SVGs. I'm going to share another story of my student. She was ASL. She works as an ASL interpreter. Her name is Cheryl, and she wants to retire and start her SVG business. So she was selling resin crafts. And let me share my screen. So she was selling resin crafts and resin products. This is her testimonial. If you go to the sales page, you'll be able to see it. So, and she wanted something that was passive and something that didn't require her presence. Like when you are making handmade products, you got to assemble it, then you got to ship it, and you got to be there in every step of the process. And she wanted something that was passive. So she joined my program. She joined my SVG business coaching program, which was like $2,000. And she took all the information, and she had literally zero knowledge. She's an ASL interpreter with zero graphic design knowledge, and she started creating SVGs, and now she has her shop and she's getting so many sales, and she creates very unique SVGs targeted towards ASL crafters. So her niche is very targeted, and now she's getting sales slowly and gradually. She's building her shop and she's getting sales at the back, and now her shop is up and running. And this is a great story for those who have zero knowledge or zero graphic design experience. Like, even if you have zero experience, you can start from this course and start creating SVGs to sell and make money. All of these students had literally zero graphic design experience. So if they can do it, you guys can do it too. You just need to take the plunge to join the course. How much? So next question is, how much of each sale does Etsy take? Do you remember, Elena, what was their percentage?
Yeah, so it's 20 cents up front per listing. And then I think it's 2 or 3%. I could be wrong about the percentage of the actual sale. So in
Uh,
terms of like SVGs, which are not a high dollar sale, the what makes it worth it is volume. So
mhm,
like, if you're going to learn from Jab, like what are the ones that sell, then as soon as you sell one, you've paid for the 20 cents, you know, and then the more you sell, the better, the higher your quantity is. Now, granted, that might seem like a lot on the front end, but you have to remember that, like, if you don't have your own base of followers or people, if you don't have 50,000 people you can sell your SVGs to via email or something, or your own shop, then Etsy has the built-in customer base already. And so they have the structure and the framework as well as the customer base to get to your shop quicker than you can do on your own. And so that's something that you have to think about in terms of, are you willing to pay the fees? Because the fees are, you really have to be upfront and realistic about that.
mhm.
But if you can get to where you're designing good SVGs from the beginning, the fees aren't that big a deal, especially if you can attract customers, which you can on Etsy with the right tools.
Yep. Exactly, exactly. I second that. Thanks for sharing that, Elena. Yeah, if you like, one of my students who does the party crafts, like her SVGs were, I think, $9. Both the SVGs were $9. So it's totally up to you how much you want to sell your designs for. Like, I personally don't enjoy selling one SVG at a time. I have them in my listed in my shop, but I don't rely completely on that because I like to see big chunks coming in rather than making small sales here and there. So I focus mainly on selling via summits or selling via bundles. So I want to see a huge chunk of money come in one launch. So the first launch that I did for my first set of SVGs, I made $1,500, 1,500 USD, or 2,000 AUD. And that's the kind of thing that I want to see. In one launch, I make that much money. So I don't like listing SVGs, one SVG per week or something like that. And it's totally up to you how you want to run your business. You can go the uh, big launch way, or you can go the small way. Like one of our friends, Christy from Handmade Crafts, she joined my program, and she does summits, and she has a membership. She also runs a craft membership, so she creates designs to sell in her membership. So all so many different ways you can utilize this SVG designing skill and make money from it. Like, Alina, how you create SVG tutorials, you also do summit. What do you have to say about your strategies with SVG?
um, my strategy was to build my email list, basically. Um, to Because my email list are people who like me, they know my designs, they know what I do, and so I give things away for free. But then I have a small Etsy shop. I do not concentrate on Etsy, I will admit. Um, but then doing lots of summits and creating my own summit, just that is all totally around SVGs and helping people learn how to deal with, use SVGs properly. I make money that way basically from summits.
Yep. Yep. So there's no hard and fast rule that you
Yeah.
have to launch your Etsy shop, and there's no other
Right.
way you can make money from SVGs. And I also did a podcast episode on this, like 5 different ways to make money from SVGs. You can go and
Yeah.
have a look at that. Like so many different, there's endless possibilities. All right.
And I
So
think,
there was,
sorry,
sorry.
I just think once you have the skill, there are so many different ways you can use it. It doesn't have to just be Etsy. Like if Etsy doesn't appeal to you, there are other avenues you can go down. Plus, go down all of them. Because the
Yeah,
more income streams you have, the better off you are. If
exactly.
this is something you really want to do.
Diversification is the key.
Yeah. But you
So,
have to learn how to make them first. Yeah.
yep. You have to master SVG designing
Right.
first. That's the first step.
Yeah.
And Kimball is asking, can we create SVGs even if we aren't graphic designer? Yes, we just saw that in today's masterclass, 5 minutes to create SVG. And you don't even need graphic designing skills. You can go to my sales page and you can look at all the testimonials from people who are not graphic designer. I am not a graphic designer, yet we're making so much money. And next question. Mm, 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 mm.
Somebody was asking about will these tricks work in Cricut design space?
No. So this is an illustration software. It's a vector-based illustration software. Uh, it's designed to create vector and other kind of graphics. But this purpose of design space is to assist with cutting with your Cricut. It's a software designed to use with the Cricut. So they serve two different purposes. So you cannot expect the same results from two different software that are serving two different purposes. So you can do like a little bit of stuff in design space, but you have very limited options. You cannot play around with nodes. For example, in Affinity Designer, you can go in and manipulate every single tiny thing using the nodes. But in design space, you don't have that option. And you don't have the option to export your designs in design space as well.
And nodes, for anybody who doesn't know, if you're a total newbie, nodes are like the little dots that those machines use. That's the path they follow to actually cut things out. So being able to manipulate those is really important to have them cut correctly, as Jav will talk to you about in her course.
Yep. Yep, that's correct. It's very important to have those nodes in place, and the more nodes you have, the more complicated your file is going to be when it comes to cutting. So a neat file should have very little nodes. Uh, uh, it will reduce the size of the file, and it will also make it easy for your machine to uh, understand the file and cut it smoothly. Next question is, will this class have a replay? Yes, we do have a replay, and it's a 48-hour replay. It will be sent to your inboxes probably right now. It has already gone. So have a look there. And I like to use frames with scallops. Can I design this in Affinity? Yes, you definitely can. You can use the shapes to create scallops in on your designs as well. All right. Any other questions? Let me check the chat box. So we are going to stay here for another 5 minutes. So if you guys have any questions, you can pop them in the chat box right now. DPI is 72 DPI is a fairly low resolution, but for a non-photographic image, more than adequate. Yup, excuse me, that's correct, Anonymous. Uh, For SVGs, it doesn't really matter because SVGs are going to be cut in a 3D format. But if you are printing an image, 72 DPI is a very, very low format and not recommended if you are printing your files. So if you're just cutting them out, 72 DPI is perfect, and it
Wait,
will help you in taking the opening the SVG in the exact format. Sorry, I cut you off again.
oh, here's my technical. I can explain. Like SVG, it stands for scalable vector graphics. So vector graphics, you can so scalable. You can make them larger, you can make them smaller without any quality loss. Whereas DPI stands for like dots per inch. So it's those would be like pixels kind of for image files. So the higher the number of DPI, the crisper that'll be at a large scale. But that doesn't apply to SVGs because they are not made up of pixels. They're made up of vectors. So they're not so like when you think about 72 DPI's web resolution, so the reason you would use that to keep the same resolution between the program and when you export it is because that's what you're looking at like in your computer screen. So that's why it's keeping it the same versus an image file that where it does matter because those are made up by pixels and when you blow them up, the fewer you have, it gets all crazy blurry. But that's not the case with vector graphics. I hope that makes sense.
Yep, that's correct. Thanks for sharing that, Elena. And let's welcome a new member
Oh,
into the SVG Superstar,
new
Kay
student.
Sholm. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but welcome to SVG Superstar. So good to have
Yeah,
you
welcome.
here.
Yay.
Yay.
Nice.
And I would like to welcome Diana. Welcome,
Oh, hey.
welcome. Diana has joined SVG Superstar Pro.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Nice. Deanna's
Cool, cool.
serious. She's
Go,
she's in
Diana.
it.
Awesome.
That's fantastic.
Who's next? Who is going to join next and get all these amazing offers? You just have 3 more minutes left, guys. Hurry up.
Are there
If
any more
you,
questions we can answer?
yep, bring them in. And if you want to learn how to package and sell your SPGs, you want to get that bonus, this is the chance. This is
Yeah.
your time to enroll now. And lastly, I forgot Amazon gift card. I'm giving away $20 Amazon gift card. So let us know in the
Ooh.
chat box how you liked today's masterclass. Leave a quick review about today's masterclass in the chat box for a chance to win an Amazon gift card. No, you can create an account and then you can download the free trial version. It's going to last for 30 days. It's a 30-day trial version. It's for free. You can get it from Affinity Designer website to play around. And if you like it, then you can upgrade to the paid version. So let us know in
But
the
it's
chat
way
box.
less expensive than, I mean, Inkscape is free, but it's glitchy and it's very difficult to learn, like just by piecemealing it around. Illustrator is great, but it's expensive. It's minimum of $20 a month, and you have to subscribe. Like you can't just buy it and download it. Or maybe there is a way to do that, but it would be like hundreds of dollars to do that. Whereas Affinity Designer is $60 one time, and you can use it for years and years, and
Yep.
just try it for the 30 days to see if you like it. And if you don't, then you can always go back to the others.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. And I've used this software for 9 plus years, and I've just spent $100 on this software in my entire life.
Which is
So
really
affordable.
good.
So affordable. 2 more minutes remaining. So hurry up, guys. Let's see if anybody has joined us in the last few minutes. This is your chance to upgrade and get this amazing bonus to sell SVGs on Etsy. And don't forget to share
my
your
fun
reviews in the
cards.
comment section for a chance to win a Amazon gift card.
And all
All
my
right.
card classes. Whoa, I'm dropping stuff. So excited.
Yay.
And you get envelopes too.
Sylvia says the class was very informative. Thank you so much, Sylvia. That's good to hear.
Yeah, thanks, Sylvia. And if you guys have questions, even later, I'm sure you can reach Jav. You can reach me. You can always
Yes.
email me at Elena@blacksheep303.com if you have questions that I can help with.
Always reach out to us and ask your questions. All righty.
Thanks for sharing your Saturday evening with us, guys, or
Yeah.
Sunday morning, depending on where you are.
All righty. We still have like 15 people viewing this. Don't forget to drop your reviews. I'm going to give one more minute and then I'm going to pick the winner for the Amazon gift card.
Nice.
Thank you, everybody, for joining the masterclass today. I had so much fun.
Me too.
It was so good to have you, Elena. And it's so fun to have another host. It doesn't feel lonely.
Happy to be here.
Yay. We should do this again.
We should.
It's so fun.
It's definitely better with two, I think.
Oh, thank you. Does Affinity have AI features? Not at the moment. They don't have AI features at the moment. I think it's going to be part of their next upgrade.
It should be.
Alrighty, so that is it. I think the winner for the Amazon gift card is Sylvia. What do you think?
Sure, why not?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Sylvia. Congrats to Sylvia for sharing her review. And thank you, everybody, for joining this masterclass. Sylvia, please drop your email address. Send me your email address to cutandmakecrafts@gmail.com so I can send in the Amazon gift card. Thank you, everybody, for joining today's session. It was so wonderful seeing you guys here. And you still have 48 hours to grab this offer and join us in this SVG Superstar. So don't forget to watch the replay and get the offer. And Sylvia has also joined SVG Superstar. Yay, Sylvia, you are an action taker. That is awesome. Thank you for joining. And that is it for today. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.